For 2 long days, I was in active labor and I had very intense contractions. My body has been doing a lot of work. So I needed that. I felt really good after going into the water. I just held my husband's hands and I just went to sleep. I wanted that.
VBACs, like we discussed in the last episode, are often discouraged in the traditional hospital system. This story is refreshing as it takes you through the inner journey, conflicts of a woman who reflects on how her birthing journey felt like and how her state of mind affected everything. Listen to it from a place of curiosity, but remember, your story is going to be your own, and this should only help you reconnect back to yourself and your desires in birth and life. Aishwarya is a mum of 2 girls and a QA engineer in a software company, aspiring to become a self sustainable lifestyle practitioner. She loves to talk about birth, philosophies around education, social structure, etc. And today she speaks to us about her story of VBAC in depth. But before that, if you're also waiting for the free guide to childbirth from me, it will be launched on 1st September, and it's the last 1 week for those of you who haven't signed up to sign up, as the first 20 applicants get the extended guide. I might be generous to all of you who have signed up before the launch and might send it to everybody. So you still have a chance of this 1 week to sign up for the free guide to childbirth, the extended version. Let's begin now. Welcome to the Birth Agni podcast, the fire that births us and transforms us. This is a space where women reclaim birth on their own terms, where deep ancient knowing meets primal courage. We talk birth, womanhood, breastfeeding, parenting, and the quiet power of choosing differently, choosing of our own. Come as you are, leave more rooted. I'm Divya Kapoor, a childbirth educator, lactation counselor, trainee traditional midwife, and doula, disintegrating the politics of birth, one story at a time. Hi Aishwarya,
Hi, Divya.
good to have you on the podcast.
Glad to be part of this podcast.
So Aishwarya, we'll talk about your VBAC story.
Yeah.
You had a surgery the first time around, and it was pretty much towards the end when the heartbeat was fluctuating. You were reeled in for a surgery, and then the second time around you had a vaginal birth, and the entire experience of labor and birth is quite interesting. There were a lot of things that were happening, and there was a lot of introspection that you had in the moments of the birth from the story you shared with me. So take us to the time of how were you contemplating your birth, when and how the labor started, and what did it feel like?
So when I decided I need to have a VBAC, like my first birth was also, I was planning to have a natural birth. I wanted it to be completely natural and unmedicated. I never liked going to hospitals. So in general, I'm such a person. So that way, when it comes to birth, I definitely didn't like the way I was treated at hospitals just for the consultations itself. When it turned out to be a C-section for various reasons, I soon after the C-section, I was like, as soon as possible, I'm going to have another birth, and it is going to be a VBAC. I was so determined to have another birth. I just wanted another child very badly, and we conceived. And when my daughter was 1.5, and I wanted to have a VBAC. Now, where am I going to have a VBAC? So that was an immediate question. Do we want to change the birth center, or we are going to proceed with the same birth center, or there are any other options to it? So my husband was pretty clear, like we are going to have it in the same birth center, because before moving to the hospital, the experience that we had in the birth center for our first birth was like unmatchable. It was so heartwarming. And even today, if me and my husband had to talk about the experience, we can talk about it like pages for pages. So it was so good. And we can't imagine, like, nobody, like, either me or my husband will never enter the hospital for pregnancy. So he was so determined, like, we have to go to the same birth center. So that was out of doubt. So coming back to convincing our family members, he took the stage for me. He wanted, like, he was just very clear. Even if it is going to be a C section, it is going to happen in the birth center, no matter what. So he was telling the same thing to me because he himself didn't have a hope of VBAC. He was so afraid of the scar being torn during labor. So uterus being ruptured, something happening to me, something happening to the baby, all sorts of fear he had in his mind. I had no such fear. I knew that it is possible. I don't know. Somewhere I had that thing. I had the determination. And then I wanted to attend a proper birth education class. I feel there is a lot of gap in the birth education classes that Lamas provides, or be it any other institution provides, or especially partially medical also. Like, if a birth center or a center or a midwifery model which is providing a medicalized care for birth, their sort of birth education classes definitely have a gap. And also, when the classes are going to be for group of mothers, it definitely has a gap. I sensed this in my first birth itself because when I enrolled for the birth center, they had a set of classes, they had a curriculum planned, and it was for mothers, like 12 to 15 mothers. And they used to just tell, for the two, every session used to be 2 hours to 3 hours, and they used to just tell all the facts about that particular topic. Now, who needs facts? We don't need facts. Mothers need assurance. Mothers need emotional support, and they should get back all their trust on their body, and should know what to do during labor. That's all. There's no other fact that is needed. Everything else is rubbish. Even though I felt this gap, but I was not very sure because I I was in the mindset that during my first birth, I was in the mindset that this is the ultimate. There is nothing more than that. So we never thought there could be something beyond a birth center could offer. But I was not fulfilled mentally. Again, I felt like there is something that is missing that I need to learn. I didn't know something. So I always felt unprepared for labor during my first birth. There was so much of self doubt, so much of fear around contractions. I was not clear about how contractions would feel like. Now, all these questions, no, I didn't get answered from the birth education classes. So then, what is the point of having the class? And then I realized all these things. So now, coming back to VBAC, so to have a VBAC, I need to put all these things in place to have a successful VBAC. So this I was very clear. Now, what to do? So it's going to be birth center, according to my husband and me initially. Then soon after my C-section, like first C-section, I accidentally stumbled upon tapasya. So I was like pondering about my experience in a group, and she volunteered. She just gave me her 2 hours of valuable time, and she just quietly listened to all my whatever I wanted to vent out. She listened quietly, and then after 2 hours, she said, your C-section doesn't sound emergency C-section. It may have fallen in place. If at all you were in the right mental state and people around you were ready to support you in the way you needed. So, because nobody was able to tell me and my husband a reason for the C-section, for the baby not descending, for the baby not settling into the pelvis. The baby was high up, even though I was in active labor, even though I was dilating. And after my water broke, my dilation stopped, and I was from 8 centimeters, I was back to 5 centimeters. Baby's heartbeat is okay. But after few hours only, when I was transferred to the hospital, I think they gave me pitocin in the hospital. They don't even ask you any permission, they just like that inject, it's part of the procedure. So amidst contractions, I didn't even know what they were doing to me. I was just handling the contraction. I wanted to pee, I peed on the bed, and that became a tension for me. And then again, all emotional conflict only was happening. I Nobody even was informed of what what was happening to me. So I had very severe contractions when I went to the hospital, and it was all like, it was just happening fast, it was happening. So I don't know what was happening to me at all. First, already I was in fear above all this, and I was just screaming madly, please do something, please do something, just take me to the operation theater. You want to do that, right? Please take me to the operation theater, please do that, and just get finish this off. Whatever happens, just finish this off. I just can't take it anymore, was my mindset. So I don't know, pitocin was given. What was happening to me, I was just unclear. So even with everything, baby didn't descend to pelvis. So maybe after the water broke, simply I should have gone back home, because the dilation came back to 5 centimeter. If I had done that, things would have been different. I stayed in the birth center. I was clueless. I didn't have a doula. I didn't know what to do. My husband was not able to, he was not equipped to support me mentally or emotionally. He didn't know, basically. He was there, but he didn't know. And he had his own issues. He had diarrhea at that time, because he was, I don't know, maybe he was also nervous. So he was not able to stay beside me at that point. And it was all chaotic after my water
Mm.
broke. Until my water broke, everything was so good. After my water broke, everything became chaotic. It was just upside down. So the tension building up. So all these mental factors only stopped baby from descending, I would say. And also, throughout my entire pregnancy, I was not okay. I was not mentally okay, because I was just married. After 5 months of my marriage, I got pregnant. So I was handling many things mentally. So I needed to have a lot of inner healing happening, a lot of understanding of what's actually happening around me. So I feel all that led to that, because the
Yeah.
baby totally relies on us. And I was very sure, because I was fit, I was okay, like all physically all fine. The baby is fine, everything is okay. Then only mental problem. So it's mental issue.
Aishwarya, I want to ask then when you were transferred,
Yeah.
was it just the fact that your dilation went from 8 centimeter back to 5 centimeters? Or was there the heartbeat also fluctuating of the baby?
Heartbeat was fine. The reason I was transferred was meconium. There was a small tinge, just a drop of pale yellow, just a drop of pale yellow fluid from my vagina. Since this happened after my water broke, the midwife was not okay to proceed or wait. But even then, I asked her to wait. Let's wait for at least another hour. But she was not okay, because she had her own reasons. Because I have an issue, it's a condition. There is an enzyme called cholinsterase in our blood, which is responsible for bringing back the consciousness. I lack that enzyme. So generationally, the community where I belong to don't have that enzyme in their blood. So there have been instances in my own family where I lost my grandmother because of that, because she underwent a surgery and the doctors didn't know about that, and she didn't return to consciousness. So my mother suspects that she passed away because of that, because back then there was no much facility when my grandmother was like 40, in her 50s, I guess. So, and we knew about that for sure when my mother underwent her uterus removal surgery. So at that point she went to coma. The doctors didn't know, and we told, I don't know if we told also. I think my father told the doctor that there is one specific anesthesia that we should not administer, but they didn't take it seriously and they gave the same anesthesia. And because of that, she didn't return back to consciousness. And then we had to do blood transfusion. And until we got the blood from the blood bank, she was kept in artificial respiration. So she was kept on a ventilator. So I have already communicated all this to the birth center. But what happened was they didn't take it seriously. The birth center didn't take it seriously. They should have discussed it with us prior to my labor, but that didn't happen. Even though I brought it up several times, they didn't bring in the fact that they needed a paper or a document that shows that I lack cholesterol. One. Number two, they didn't take it seriously, even though I have given them my mother's discharge summary, my mother's surgery, everything, history, everything I have given, abortion history, everything, whatever my mother has gone through, everything I have submitted. But even then, they didn't take it seriously and they didn't communicate us that they don't have the ventilator support, which we didn't know. We knew that C sections happen in the birth center, but we didn't
Wow.
know that they don't have the ventilator support. That is an ICU to equip the patients with artificial respiration. So this is being communicated to my husband after noticing the drop of meconium, the yellow, that too pale yellow meconium. It's not serious, so we can wait. So the pale yellow meconium. But why the midwife was not ready to wait? Because they don't have a ventilator support. So if they're going to wait for an hour and then decide on if, and then if things don't go well as expected, and then if they have to initiate the transfer, another hour to get ready here, another half an hour to travel to the hospital, and another hour of procedure at the hospital, and another half an hour to get the procedures done in the hospital. For the doctor to arrive, everything has to happen in place. And it was a Sunday. So, with all these things in mind,
Factors.
factors
Yeah.
in mind, she made the decision that you better get transferred. Whatever happens, let it happen at the hospital because I don't have a ventilator support. It's all fine, but at that moment I was not ready to agree to that, because I came in for something and something else is happening and it's all happening all of a sudden, and I was totally taken back. Already I am driven by fear. So with and the birth education classes didn't help me basically. So yeah, it was very hard for me to take, but I feel okay. I was in good doctor, like in the hands of a good gynec. She was very, very good. She was very comforting. She waited for another hour. Even though I was not ready, she wanted to give it a try. Because I was a first time mother, she didn't want to do a C-section. She wanted to wait for an hour. She gave me that chance. But still, no point waiting in an hospital with a mindset that I have. No, no way that is going to work. So it didn't work.
You felt you weren't counseled well and you weren't prepared for this.
Yes, yes,
Also, the childbirth classes did not help you surrender to
yes,
what would have
yes,
happened. So it's not necessary that every birth story has a very, positive or beautiful take to it. it's
yes,
it's it's usually a transformative experience, so all our fears definitely come in front of us,
yes,
and that's
yes,
how we grow out of the experience. So that level of surrender to allow yourself to see all sides of yourself, and also situationally, the karmically, when we are connected to other people, and baby also has their own, baby comes with
journey.
its own, yeah, journey, and so sometimes we see things
Yes,
from the baby's journey. Yeah.
it is because I had this journey. I was able to, I had the inquiry of if at all this didn't serve my purpose, like if these classes didn't serve my purpose, now what is going to serve the purpose? Just after my C section, I felt I need to become a birth educator and provide all the mothers fixing this gap. I actually wanted to collaborate with the birth center itself, and I asked the midwife, "What should we do to to become a trainer as part of your birth education classes?" That was my question. She told, "You need to just complete the Lama certification and you can just join." And I tried to take the certification. I paid and everything was done. And luckily, I don't know, it's all God's plan, maybe. It just happened. I enrolled. I wanted to attend the Lamas class, like the trainer classes for the trainer, and then I wanted to complete the course. I paid. Something happened, and all of a sudden, the person who is conducting the class could not conduct. She had an emergency. She called off that entire batch, and she refunded the amount. I was waiting for the next set of classes to begin, and that is when I'm meeting Tapasya. So then she came, she spent like 2 hours twice with me, sat with me. She was just helping me come out of the C-section first, and then she was like, there is something like home birth happening, you need to listen to Vapio, you need to listen to these midwives, do listen to these stories. She pointed me to home birth stories, your Birth Agni podcast, and a podcast from, I don't remember the name. It's a foreigner podcast. They also share a lot of birth stories, and I was pretty excited. I just wondered, oh, this is happening. Okay, we have to just listen. And then I every day I used to listen at least to two stories, two home birth stories. How are they even doing it? That was the notion that I carried. Oh my god, this is so great. And then when I started hearing VBACs after 4 C-sections, VBACs after 5 C-sections, then this is nothing. What I am having is nothing. So we can just do it. We can just do it. This is going to happen. I got the confidence after listening to the birth stories. It was so new for me. And then, okay, so Lamas itself lacks something that is not.
Yeah, I'd like to address that question. What Lamas lacks as a childbirth educator, because I started off as a childbirth educator and then joined the birth keeper and joined KL and learned midwifery, and
Okay.
I'm still learning. I would say you are a student of this for life, and
Lamas helps us to provide WHO recommended standards and when to make informed decisions in a hospital, how to make an informed decision in a hospital, how to make an informed decision in a home birth, how to assess the situation technically from the birth standpoint. But does it address a question of how the contractions will look like, how to perceive pain?
yeah, to address this, I wanted to
Yeah.
demarcate between what Lamas and any other childbirth preparation program brings in is a childbirth preparation program. You train as a childbirth educator, you're given the basic information all about birth.
Mm,
So, how do contractions look like? How can they feel like in the body? All of that textual information is there,
mm,
and it definitely depends on the trainer how they frame their classes. That is one. The second is if you take childbirth classes from somebody who's seen a lot of births, their curriculum will change over the years
yeah.
because they've seen women. The knowledge out of that experience really shapes your childbirth classes. So now the childbirth classes that I give, they have all this information about how does birth look like, how do contractions look like, how do your hormones change, how does your brain change, what is the importance of birth space, what's the aspect of fear and intuition. All of those things are covered, which is not something I was covering. When I started as out as a childbirth educator, without the knowledge and the experience that I have now. So that's the difference.
that that helps a little, that helps a little,
It definitely does.
but you know what, out of my experience I'm telling, even if you negate all the understanding about hormones, all the understanding about how the uterus contracts, all those understanding, if you just inform a woman about how to trust her body, how to perceive pain mentally, and how to surrender basically, and how your body actually functions, or sees things without the technical information. Just this. I am seeing a lot of women, even from the rural places, without all these facts that about the hormones, about how the uterus works, how where the cervix is, and all that, we are able to give birth. It's more
Absolutely.
about the mental preparation. But when you give all these facts, but mentally you're not even there, it doesn't help. That is the gap
True
that I
that.
see, because it can be, I wouldn't say it is just with the lamas, right? But that alone doesn't help. It sometimes, even if we are able, even if the trainer is able to give all the information that I tell, only if the mother is in alignment, they will be able to receive it. So that is also there.
That will always be the case.
But I felt like it's more of like, when it comes to a classroom kind of this, no, training, no, I don't think it matters. It will only remain as providing the facts. When it comes to a classroom, it's only providing the facts. But when it's one on one, it's totally different. So that is the difference that I found. So when Tapasya started, like after I got pregnant, I took her classes. I wanted to understand how to bridge the gap. What I'm going to get from Tapasya, that is a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe that she holds. She also provided a lot of facts and information around how the hormones work, how the anatomy is, how we should look into it. What happens when the baby doesn't turn? What happens when something interrupts with the cardinal moments? But again, to everything, there is a tinge of spiritual aspect to the birth, right? So that is being brought up every time. Now, that is providing us a lot of reassurance, because we women inherently know the truth somewhere within, and that's where the inquiry is beginning. Okay, that's where the search or the quest is beginning. When somebody from the outside in the field, with the medical knowledge, with the terms, is going to reassure you that, then that stands like like a rock within you, right? So that gave me a lot of confidence. So that is the gap I felt with the lamas classes that I attended from the birth center, and with that of this one-on-one session. And it was more customized and personal. I can ask anything, I can get everything clarified. Whatever I question, it will not be taken in the wrong manner. But it was not that way when it comes to the classes that was arranged by the birth center. There were always limitations. So that these were the gaps. I was waiting to experience the contractions back again, because I have been missing it for 2 years. So I wanted it back, because I felt the contractions first time, but I didn't know how to navigate it, and hence I was totally in tension. I was tense whenever I got the contraction. Oh, something is happening. I used to sit like this. Something is happening. This is a resistance posture. I literally sat like this. I didn't want to do that mistake back again, and I was badly waiting for having the contraction and letting it go. We have to breathe the contractions this time. I was totally prepared for it, so I wanted to experience it. And I had a very long labor. Like my contractions began during 39 weeks itself. Like my baby was born 39 weeks and 6th day, but even before like 5 days I started experiencing the mild contractions. So how it was is like, in a day I used to get it once, and then it will go away, and then for another 2 days I won't have anything, and then gradually, the way it pushed, no, the body is telling me, this is how I'm going to do, and this is a trial. It literally communicated it to me. Now this is how I'm going to do it for you, and this is going to get intense. You're going to wait for it. The body literally told this to me, and I was listening to it with all awareness. And so it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I would say I enjoyed the slow contractions, which was least in intensity, but it used to like the ebb and flow used to be quite slow. The body is just preparing us for it. This is how I'm going to do. So that ebb and flow was very beautiful, and it used to be very slow, and slowly, day by day, the intensity didn't increase, but the time of the ebb and flow was shorter. It was shortening, and slowly, like one day once, and that happened for in a gap of 2 days, 3 days, and then slowly after a week, I started getting contractions at night. Like it used to be like 2 hours once, 4 hours once, and then 2 hours once, and then gradually it came down, and all of a sudden, like, yeah, not all of a sudden, but just 2 days before my baby was born, I had very intense contractions, like every 1 hour or something. And then slowly, for one whole day, every 1 hour once I had, but it was all tolerable. I can do all my household works, everything on my own. And then the very next night, I started having contractions like for every half an hour, and it was very intense. I couldn't sleep properly. So I was sleep deprived for 2 days, 2 continuous days. At night, I didn't sleep well. Since I had a toddler, I during the day I was not able to sleep, so I had to run behind her. She didn't let me. She was just two and a half.
So did the contraction slow down during the day and picked up in the night? Was that the pattern?
Yes, during the day it slowed up. During the night, it picked up very well. It picked up very well, and then all of a sudden there was no contractions, and then I felt like I was talking to my husband about, is it okay if the baby is born in this day? There was some, I think it was a no moon day. It was a no moon day that was coming, and before the no moon day I was having like very intense contractions, but then I didn't see the labor approaching, and I had a lot of questions around the day. Will people do anything in our home if the baby is born the day next on the no moon day, or the day right after the no moon day? If the baby is out, what will people say? I was a bit concerned about it. The beauty is, after he assured me that, why are you bothering about all that? We are here for something else. Please don't bother about anything. People are not going to say anything. They will, end of the day, they will agree. They might feel bad, but end of the day, we since this can't be controlled, they'll be okay to take it. Nobody is going to blame you for anything. The moment he assured, I don't know, my body understood that I was put into intense contractions like periodically. And then I got to know, okay, I'm going to deliver the baby. The baby is going to come out tomorrow or day after, something. So how this mental thing works, right? This is so magical. When you're ready mentally, it will happen. So that is what is coming back, taking me back to my first birth. I was not ready mentally, and hence I had all those inhibitions. Because of my mental inhibitions, the baby didn't listen. Obviously, when the mother is not ready, how will the baby trust? Okay, mother is in some tension, she is not comfortable delivering me right now, so should I come now, should I first listen? She was also in fear mode.
You tense up in the body if you have a lot of fear, which is what is very important to be worked up in the preparation about all your fears. Women have the slightest of the fear. Do I have a small vagina? Will my body open up? Will I
Yes.
tear? How will I take? So, those are the littlest of the things that pile up. And to add here, I'd say the best, even if you do the best preparation, there will be layers of fears that will still be left. Nobody can be 100% prepared for birth, and you will have that come up during your birth, and that will help you transform and grow. And then again,
One suggestion, if anybody is going to listen to this podcast or the story, like, the suggestion that I would give to the mothers is, hire a doula if you're a first time mother. Go for a doula. Please don't hesitate to go for a doula. I regret not having a doula for myself, because that gap that I am telling, no, that could have been bridged with the help of a doula.
yeah, somebody to handhold you.
Yes, and also somebody to advocate our needs during the birth, because we can't rely husbands for that. I didn't know the importance of doula at that point because I didn't even understand the difference between doula and a midwife at that point. But now I really understand what the role of doula is. So yeah, this is like
Yeah.
magical. The mental and the physical understanding, no, the connection, no, that wiring is plays a huge role during birth, especially during birth. So when you're mentally ready, you're ready. The only inhibition that I had has been delaying my birth, maybe because I had longer contractions. Everything should would be that, and then after that, I was put into constant contrast because my body knew everything clear now. Only goal is to deliver the baby. Only goal is to get the baby out.
Yeah, you felt safe enough now. You didn't have
Yes.
any inhibition of birthing a particular date or
Yeah.
any social pressure as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was totally into that form. Now then the next day I was like on and off contractions. The timing got reduced. I was dilating. My mucus plug came out, and immediately my husband informed to the birth center. Since I had the classes with Tapasya, I had two plans, which was the biggest blunder. No woman should do that. One is to labor at home how much ever possible, and if I'm okay, I will labor at home and give birth. If I'm not okay, I'll go to the birth center. This was my plan and mindset, but that was how I was prepared because I was seeking validation from my husband for home birth. While I was not 100% sure of what I needed, though I believe home birth is the best option, but still, for home birth I can't convince people here. I was afraid what will happen to my postpartum. If I choose home birth, what if people start showing vengeance for my choice? Because postpartum, I need their help. So people may start like showing all their vengeance. They might like, you only chose home birth. No, go take care of your children on your own. This attitude might pop up because I have been exposed to this type of attitude in my parental home. Like, okay, my mother, father, and all. Though they don't seem like that, there have been many instances that I've been hurt because of that. So that is where it is all coming from. So I was very much worried about the postpartum because I have a toddler to handle as well as a newborn. So somebody trustworthy has to handle my toddler. Only then I can give the newborn the same kind of affection and love that I gave to my elder one. So I was so concerned about that. So I had these two plans, but I never planned to surrender. That was the blunder that I did. Even though there were a lot of conversations between me and Tapasya about surrender. I couldn't visualize what surrender is. I wanted to trust my body, I wanted to trust my baby, I wanted to trust the universe, but that didn't happen. I was still under a lot of self doubt deep within. Even though I was like, Sanjana, a fellow mother, she shared me. I was anxious during the mid of the pregnancy due to certain incidents. At that point, to calm me down, she shared a hypnobirthing podcast. That is a lifesaver. I used to put that on my ears and then just fall asleep every day, and especially when the days that I was very low. That changed me, and it reprogrammed me subconsciously that VBAC will happen. I will give birth. C-section is nowhere in the picture. Because of that podcast, even the lighter talks about C-section never popped up. And the way I got attuned to it, to that thought, put my husband in alignment with me that he never spoke about C-section thereafter. This was very magical for us because we didn't think about it. So, and then only I understood the power of thoughts and the subconsciously how you train yourself. No, that makes a lot of difference, and that happened because of the podcast. And then I understood, okay, because of the podcast, subconsciously made me believe that VBAC will happen.
I wanted to add to the aspect of surrender how I see it as well. So, how I see it is also surrender is surrendering to your feelings and what your gut tells you.
Hmm. Okay.
Not just trusting the process, not just trusting God, not just having blind faith on any external picture that we have, trusting what our gut tells us. Because to me, how God speaks to me or how any other power speaks to me is through my intuition or my gut, my body. That's the communication that I have. So when we have that, and it's hard to build. It's an ongoing process. It will take forever. Like through life, we learn how to do this. But once we are so attuned to that, we listen to ourselves, and then whether or not something is working for us, be it home birth, be it the hospital birth, be it a birth center birth, then we are very fluid. So we are not stuck with, we want to do it this way. We are not stuck with, we want to do it in a hospital, or we want to do it in a birth center and in a certain way. So that ways it gives you a lot of chance to just let go of everything and be in the moment, and then feel what you feel, and then make the decision from that moment onwards. So I feel that also is an added aspect. Of course, trusting the process, that's the core of it. But then adding that aspect to it, that you rely on nothing than yourself.
All your points are right, but I was not there.
Nobody will be there
I
100%.
was not there,
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if I'm there even now, even today. But what I understood from my birth is there were a lot of conflicts happening within my own mind and outside. It was all chaotic in my mind, number one, and I had a lot of fears this time on what may go wrong with the people around me. It was as if I started believing that they are going to cause something harm some harm to me. I was in that mode. So I was in a mode where I was focusing on, I don't want them to do this to me. I don't want them to do this to me. I don't want them to do this to me. This was all in my mind. What actually I want. What all things that they do will be helpful for me. You know, there's these two are totally different things. Two different things. And my husband has been trying to tell me to be in this mode. But whereas I have been in this mode thinking I am trying to eliminate all the emergencies from my way. But the whole point is I don't control anything. And I know that. I don't
yeah.
control anything. I can't control anything. When it comes to birth, I can't control anything. Even if I'm going to be at home, I'm not going to control many things around me, like the mood of my mother, the way she's going to look at me while I was laboring. This all happened at home actually. When I was laboring, I wanted to labor as long as possible at home. So I was laboring, I was just holding, I was doing crazy things all alone by myself. And I didn't want my mother near me because she doesn't have a clue on how a labor will look like, how a contraction will look like. All she knows is to fear. So I didn't want that fear to come and accumulate me. I was not ready for that energy. So I just wanted her to stay away from me. So I used to tell her, even though she comes and peeps through the door, I'll say, please go from here. All I need is a bottle of kanji and a bottle of tender coconut water near me.
Aishwarya, that's powerful for me. To ask your mom to go out of the room in a moment that you needed to do something your way, that was conviction that I don't want you right now. Get me what I want. That's still powerful for me.
But yeah, I was powerful there. And she didn't listen to me, but she was just peeping. I was not feeling comfortable. I felt that I'm not going to surrender here. I can't do that here. And then I called back my husband. I sent my toddler and my husband back out for a walk. So they were walking. He was afraid I'm going to birth at home. He was carrying that, inner heaviness with all the fear which he didn't want to show me. He had his own problems. He had his own, what to say, fears, but he didn't want to show me also. That was so sweet of him. But still, I would say, why to carry all those fears? You could have traveled alongside by me.
But he's a different human being. That's why.
Yeah, that is there. So it took so there were two different things that was happening. One is his fear, One is my mother's fear. Another thing, me trying to first overcome my fear and handle everybody's fear and deliver the baby. This is a lot. Now, instead of doing all these things, what I must have done at that point is, see, there is something else that is controlling all these things. This is all not under my control. It can be God, it can be truth, it can be called as light, it can be called as supreme power, it can be called as universe, it can be called as anything, be it the term. But I am not doing that. This realization I didn't have. Every mother should have this realization. If they have that realization, they will focus on doing what their body is telling and leave the rest to the external. That can be universe or God or light or anything. So, as if I am going to do everything, I put all the burden into my mind and and amidst everything, I'm trying to be powerful. So, this is the pun of life. Though I'm laughing about it right now, there have been moments where I felt I regretted for being like that at that moment. But yeah, to be where I am now, I needed that moment. So yeah. So this is surrender. This is basically surrender. So to understand that you don't control anything and let it in the hands of God or supreme power, or because there is something that is existing which we don't know, because we are not responsible for everything. At the same time, we are responsible for certain things, or not certain things. We are actually responsible, but we are not responsible. This is a pun, but yeah, this might sound confusing, but it is true. If we try not to control anything around us, something is taking control on behalf of you. It will start controlling things for you in favor of you. Whatever has to happen for you will happen. Now, this was a very, very much needed lesson that I learned it in a very, very hard way. So, I started to the birth center, and after going there, again, I went into that mode. Now, when whatever mode I was at home, I was trying to control my mother and my husband only. Not control them, because my aim was not to control anybody. I just wanted to deliver the baby as my body wants to do. Like what I feel, I wanted to do. I didn't want anybody to come and say or command me on what I want to do or give me massage or anything without me asking. But that can happen at home, but it can't happen at a birth center. And then I went to the birth center. I gave in, but there things were little different. So when they were trying to trigger my contractions and all, I was not able to surrender. I was not able to
Trigger
zone
your
out.
contractions,
Yes, through
meaning
massage. So what they did was, after I reached the birth center, I stayed in water for some time, and at that point, the midwife, they told me like, okay, it's all up to you. You have to take care of your thing. You tell us what to do. We will follow. That was what they told me, and I felt, yeah, there was a little tone difference in it. I understood, okay, they are all offended now, something is going to happen, but let's see how things go. We will take charge maximum
yeah,
possible, we will
got
take charge.
it.
That was my thought process. I didn't want to give in to their thought.
Aishwarya, do you mean when you went in the waters, then the contractions slowed down and then they were trying to massage you to bring them back again?
The contractions actually will slow down, is what Tapasya told. Like when we are during the last phase of delivery, sometimes the contractions will slow down because the mother has to
Sometimes,
zone out, and sometimes the body
yeah,
will need rest. So it
yeah.
doesn't mean the labor is not progressing. So what happened was, after I was out of the water, I felt like after I went into the water, I had a nice sleep for about 10-15 minutes, I think. I'm not sure of the time, because I needed that. For 2 long days I was in active labor and I had very intense contractions. My body has been doing a lot of work, so I needed that. I felt really good after going into the water. I just held my husband's hands and I just went to sleep. I wanted that. After that, after some time I felt active. I also wanted to walk, and then they told, like, my suggestion is you have to walk, but it's up to you. If you want, you can stay in the water, or if you don't want, you can just walk. That was what they told. Okay, then after that I decided, okay, let's get out of the water, let's do some walking. At least people will calm down, because everybody is ready to show me some vengeance here. So for the questions that I asked during the prenatal visits, so let's just make things okay. So I just walked out of the water, and then they made me walk.
Did you feel scared that that vengeance might interfere with your birth, so you wanted to comply?
I didn't feel, I was not scared of that. I wanted to show them that I can do. I was in that mode. I wanted to show them that my body is intelligent and it can do things, because I'm usually a person who listen to my intuition. But even that was put into a toss during the last phase of labor. I'll tell you what happened. I was walking, and at that point, they were trying to. After some time, no, the baby started crowning. The baby started crowning, but I didn't know that the baby is crowning. I didn't know. I didn't know the baby's head is already there. I didn't know I was already 10 centimeter dilated. I was not in that awareness at all, because I was zoning out actually. So at one of the pelvis checks, Priyanka told me that she was explaining that this many, you are around 9 centimeter dilation. You're, but she didn't tell me that you're progressing well. This statement she didn't tell. We have to get this baby out. This only she told. Like last time, you have to get this baby out. When she told like last time, I felt something is getting reversed.
You went back to the last birth and the circumstances, yeah.
I went into the negative mode. Thereafter, whatever she told, no, I didn't listen properly. That's my mistake. Like, but I won't say it as a mistake also, because I was zoning out. I was not myself there. It's all positive words that I needed. But when she took back me to the last birth, I feel something was getting reversed. And then they were trying to make me walk a lot. They were asking me to climb the stairs back again. So I felt like last time,
While the baby was crowning, were they asking you to do all of this?
yes, yes,
While the baby was crowning?
yes, the baby's head was there out. Yeah.
That wasn't required. Usually, you need to just slow down and allow your pelvis to relax.
You know what, Divya? My body literally craved for rest. I was like, please leave me. I want to rest. But during every contraction, my legs were held up. I was lying back. My legs were held up. Push, push, push. Oh my god! It was literally like how a patient will be treated in a hospital. A delivery will happen in a hospital. Everything was done to me. I think my pelvic floor is in a shock, but I didn't want to go to that mode. I am just talking to my body right now, uh, because I feel some heaviness there in my abdomen, lower abdomen, and all. I feel some heaviness even today. Like I am almost 1 year postpartum of my second child, and when I pee, I have some sensation. So I'm still not out of that shock, because the last few hours there were a lot of maneuvers that they were trying on my body, and it was all not gentle. It was not gentle.
And why were they trying to maneuver the baby out when the baby was already there?
Because the baby was not coming out, and when I was trying to push, because I was not actually pushing, but I was trying to push, but I'm not pushing.
You were breathing through it, which is okay. You don't need to push the baby out. You need to breathe your baby out. That's all right.
Yes, but they were telling me also, you don't push if you don't have the urge to push. But I had the urge to push, but it was not happening.
Were you exhausted? Did
Yes,
you not
yes.
have the energy?
I was exhausted. But you know what, I feel today that if I was allowed to sleep or take the rest that I needed at that point of time, if I was allowed to sleep maybe an hour or 2 hours of sleep, after that maybe she would have come out, or I would have got back the energy. I feel like that right now, but I don't know. It's up to.
It's quite possible. So, Aishwarya, it does happen that, women do tend to sleep towards the end while the baby is coming. Yes, contractions sometimes slow down, or women don't feel it as much. They are trying to change position.
When she touches me, the contractions are picking up. I don't want that, because my body is not ready for that. Now I feel the exhaustion towards the end is also because of those triggered contractions. It was not from my body. It was triggered contractions. Like, she does one maneuver from the she presses my pelvis side and I get the contraction. Why should that happen? And I'm surprised by the contraction actually. When I need to navigate that, my body is surprised by the contraction that is coming.
So you subconsciously will be fighting something that comes as a shock because you're not ready for it. The whole point of labor is for you to get ready for the next contraction.
When I ask the question, like, why are you doing this? Please don't touch me there. Because when you touch, I'm getting the contraction and it is like forced contraction. I don't want that. At that point, the midwife told, we are doing it because you need more contractions because the baby has to come out. So that is an interruption, right? That is also a form
Yeah,
of induction.
that's managing birth still. Human managing.
In what way have they done what they promised me to do? Promise me that they will do.
It's a different training, Aishwarya. So the training is very different. So this is how everybody is trained in a medically.
And that is the point I felt like we should not have come here. At that point, like, I felt, no, we should not have come here. But when we are here, my husband was also feeling little bad. Like, he told, like, we both were feeling little off and negative. And then I don't know what made him tell that. When I was made to walk, baby is already there. I was 10 centimeter dilated. I didn't know that the baby is out. I don't know that the baby is crowning at that point. So I was walking also. At that point, my husband held my hand silently. He told me, do you want to go home back? Are you feeling off here? Shall we go home back? Do you want to ask the midwife? I was like, oh, please, please take me back home. I was like that, you know. Finally, you came to that point. Please take me back home. We'll do that. We'll go. I was like that, literally. And then, okay, you have to talk to the midwife. I can't do that for you because the midwife will convince me easily. I can't do that. I was like, then what is the point of you asking me? I was like that. You have to do that for me. Okay, fine. I'll go ask. Then I went, another pelvis check was happening, and at that point I asked, like, shall I go back home? If nothing is happening here, if the dilation is reversing, because I didn't know that I'm 10 centimeters dilated, okay, at that point. So I was little down emotionally. So I was discouraged, I was demotivated. So at that point, like, shall I go back home? I asked. Why do you even want to go back home? You're 10 centimeters dilated. Baby's head is what? Baby's head is already out. This was what my reaction was. Yes, that was what I was telling during the previous pelvic check. Oh, I didn't know about this. Waste of 2 hours. Waste of 2 hours of me.
Nothing is wasted. It gave you so much insight, Aishwarya, into what you were feeling at that point. Nothing is a waste in labor and birth. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. Why did I feel fucked up for the whole 2 hours
Because
then?
you still had the fear and the energy from the last birth. You didn't trust. You didn't trust them from the last birth. And
Yes. So that was there. That was very hard for me. And then I told, oh, okay. Then my energy came back. Okay. Then the baby will out. Okay. Oh, baby will. Okay, no problem. No, nothing. No C-section this time. No. Okay. We are going to deliver. But how we are going to deliver, that is going to differ. Okay, fine. We'll do it. I'll. After that, I was like, oh, you do whatever you want to do with my body. I know I will deliver my baby. And then they were doing lot of things with my legs. They put my legs literally on my head, and then they were pushing, they were pressing, they were tilting me this side, that side. Oh my god, all the drama. Like, it's tiresome to think even now. They did lots of activities with my body, what not. So they were doing. I was like, I gave in actually. Okay, do it. It's going to be your way. Okay, you do it. But
yeah.
I knew my body, and even I heard these words. You are pushing, but nothing is happening. Your vagina is not at all opening. How will it open?
You're prodding so much.
Yes. How will it even open? I was like that. And then maybe the baby's head has descended. Baby's head is there. But we don't know about the body. Is the body really turned and has it already come out? That we don't know, right? And I doubt that actually the body would have still been in a little upper station, or the baby is still turning.
So, Ishwarya, the head extends and comes out. If that is happening, nobody should be prodding and doing anything. That's a normal procession of labor and baby being birthed. So, the baby's head slowly keeps coming out.
But that will happen only if the body turns also, right?
No, body turns after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so your head extends and then the neck rotates, and then the rest of the shoulders align with the rest of the neck, and the shoulders rotate. But the crowning usually happens in a procession. But then again, if your pelvic floor is not relaxed, it might take more time because the baby has to navigate the muscles. So that is pretty much a possibility. And yes, prodding with you, I agree with you from what I feel from your stories that most likely you should have been allowed to rest. You were controlled, you were being managed.
And during all these things, the baby's heartbeat went up. When it went up, please, we'll inject an IV. You need glucose. You're exhausted. Within, if you take glucose in 15 minutes, the baby will be out. They were telling me. I was not ready for that.
Ah, okay. Sometimes glucose does help. I've seen that. So when the woman doesn't have energy,
Hmm.
in the terms of food, if she can take it, if not, I've seen, and this is usually in a managed birth, definitely, but I've seen it does help the woman get the energy back.
So, what happened was after some time, like I didn't want to take that. I'll take food. You give me food. I was eating in the mid. I was taking that, but still nothing helped. Okay, so baby was there in my vaginal area opening for about what to say 4.5 hours. I made them wait. I don't want IV, and they waited. And
That's good.
I had contractions on and off. At times I wanted to doze off. I transformed. I came back. They woke me up literally. And there was a point. I think that was a point I was transforming, or I was transitioning to another stage. At that point, they were already prepping up my hand for the IV without my consent because I was sleeping. So they already started doing it. And then something, they woke me up and they told, Aishwarya, wake up. The baby's heartbeat is going down now. So it went up to 170. I made them wait because I told like next contraction, the baby's heartbeat will be normal. If it's normal, you're not injecting me. I told. And then the same way I just closed my eyes and then I spoke to my baby. See, whatever is happening outside, it's up to me. Now I trust you. You do your job. You do your job. You will get the time that you need. I just told this. I trust you 100%. You do your job. You don't get tensed. It's okay. It's all up to me. I don't know. That worked like a mantra. The next contraction, very next contraction, baby's heartbeat was normal. This continued for 4.5 hours. The amount of trust the baby holds for her mother is huge. When we reciprocate that to the children, I don't know, that energy is different.
Love that. Yeah.
So that was, nobody couldn't believe that could happen.
It's for nobody to believe, it's for you to believe. Yeah.
I put the midwife under a lot of pressure. That alone I understood. She was like, what do you want? Do you really trust us? Please trust the team. There is a team that is actually working for you. Why are you not trusting us? I was like, why are you doing all these maneuvers and expecting me to trust you? You all are doing what I don't want, and then you're asking me to trust. I put things clearly during my prenatal visits, but still, you're doing it your way, and I want it my way. If this is not going to match, you can't expect trust from me. I am the
That's
mother who is
right.
laboring. I am the mother who is delivering. Now, if you are telling in your propaganda that you will do everything tailor made for mothers, I still, whenever I read such posts from the birth centers, no, any institution, any birth center, I feel like, why are you putting these words when it is not going to happen? And my husband says, Why are you trusting institutions? Why can't you be prepared that institutions will not keep up their words? But I didn't keep that particular birth center in that agenda. That was a mistake that I made. So, if I had set right expectations, I would have known what to expect, and nothing would be of this sort. I would have surrendered even more easily. I would not have fought. I would not have expected wrong things from wrong people. So, that is also a point actually. So, when we know what to expect correctly, or we set lower expectations, I think we will be in a positive mode, and because of that, even though things are not happening for you, like at least in your favor, something will happen. I was not doing that. I believed their propaganda on one side, and another side, I did believe the negative stories that I heard about the birth center also. But I was trying very hard for that to not occur to me, because I knew deep within I will be going to the birth center, and I didn't want those bad things to happen to me. My focus was on what not to happen instead of what has to happen, and that's why everything shifted here.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of complicated.
No, it absolutely makes sense, Aishwarya. It does make sense that. Hmm.
That is what so at that point I was not able to surrender. I was fighting them. And then there were a lot of words that I heard, like no mind body connection, zero mind body connection. I was like, I know what my body is asking for, but you're not letting me connect to my body. You're not letting me do that. You want to inject the IV, you want to get things done, but if you leave me alone for 15 minutes or 5 minutes, I'll be little okay. I felt really hard, like, to calm me down, that I did lot of things when they were putting my legs and all on top of my head and all that. I was like, I felt a sensation in around my clitoris. So, and that is the point I felt, oh, okay. Even around all that mess, I was like recollecting the birth stories where mothers transition to some other state and they just breathe their baby. They even masturbate and they breathe their baby out calmly. I used to feel at that time while seeing those stories and listening to those stories and all, how is this even possible at that moment? We'll be handling the contractions. How will we even feel like touching our the pleasure giving parts? But when they were doing those stupid maneuvers, I'll say, they were lifting my legs and all that. No, I felt a tinge of sensation on my clit. Okay. Even with all these things happening, I was able to feel that. Now imagine if I was left alone, I would have definitely felt the, what to say, the pleasure of giving birth, right? I wanted to find some time to go to the washroom to stay alone. I made it. I found some time. Like I told, like, I want to go to the washroom, but I don't want anybody near me. I went to the washroom. The nurse was peeping in. No, you should not be here. Okay, at least the husband, okay, let him be, let him come, let the husband come, you don't come inside, please close the door. And I was getting my contraction, and amidst contraction I tried to masturbate. There was a lot of tension. I was not happy. I was under a lot of tension, but I felt, because usually when I'm alone, when I'm carrying a lot of tension and stress within me and I'm very sad, to I sometimes don't know what to do at that time. If I masturbate, I feel little relaxed, because all my muscles are going to relax at that point. So I just sat, and then I was like, I put lot of hot water on my belly around me, and then I had this pooping sensation also, a lot of pooping sensation, but I didn't have any poop coming out. So it was like a constipated poop. So something happened, and a little poop came out, and then I felt like we have to relax our muscles. And then I did that. I masturbated, and I felt really better. After that, I felt really better. I could feel the head of my child. It's because she was already crowning, so I felt her head. Okay, I just gave that little touch. And then, okay, something is happening. After masturbation, like during that contraction, I tried to push. Now it will happen. Now it will happen. But I was conscious enough. I was conscious. I was still fighting. I was still under tension. Nothing happened actually. But at least I was able to relax myself. I felt better. I didn't feel it as a pain at all. So the contractions, I mean, it didn't feel painful. So and then my husband said, enough of all this drama. You are undergoing lots. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why don't you take the IV? He was like that because he saw me suffer for about 5 hours. So he was like, why don't you do that? Why just take the IV? No, they are suggesting, do it. No, we are here. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, no way. I need this to happen. She'll be out. I know. I know. I'm listening to my body only. The midwife is telling that I'm not listening to my body, but I'm listening to body. The body is telling me this only. So I am doing this. So I just told, and he was not happy about that. So and then, okay, you're not going to listen. Okay, go through whatever you want to go through. That's all. He left it to me. And then we went out. We were not allowed to stay there for more time. Instead of he giving me all this advice, no, he could have been a little intimate with me during that point, like giving me a hug, soothing me down, like, why are you feeling bad? Don't feel bad. Just giving me a pat. You're going through a lot. Why you're a strong woman? Like good words, no? Like all those apples, like good apples. Like I never saw you like this strong in my life. All these kind of words, no?
Yeah, that would have relaxed you.
But why can't husbands give these words? I don't know.
They're not trained enough.
They you know, they can't utter this word. Yeah, you are such a strong woman. This one word would have done the work of the ivy, but they won't agree. This one word would have done the entire work of the ivy. Nobody would agree to that. You know, after I came out, I was literally in tears. Like, I was in a very bad situation. I felt really bad. I was really down. Because I'm constantly pushing, but the baby is not coming. The vagina is not opening up. According to the midwife, nothing is actually happening. But I don't know what to do. And then at some point, like I felt like I was literally in tears. And can I hug my husband for a minute? I asked. Can you hug me for a moment? And then he was like, he hugged me, he kissed me, but I didn't feel good and all. But still, I got the warmth that I needed, so I felt little okay. And then my baby's heartbeat just bumped back up, and then I gave in for an IV. Okay, get lost, you people. Put the IV. Go. I was unsure if they gave me a glucose or a pitocin. I didn't know. Okay, so they were already prepping up. So I was shocked by that because they didn't get my concern. So why are they doing this to me? I asked them to wait. What is happening around me? Because I just woke up from the sleep. So okay, they're already there. So they were not ready for my concern. So even if I say a no, they are going to do something to me. Okay, fine, we'll give in. They have waited so long. Let us not put anybody in trouble after this. Okay, let them do. Then they gave the IV. In 15 minutes, I woke up actually. I don't know. From somewhere, all the energy came. And I woke up. I was seeing everything literally clear. NICU was getting ready for the baby. Nurses were already there near the NICU, that plate and all, that equipment and all. And all the midwives were seated down near the bed. And I felt like walking. And people also were advising me to walk, take at least 10 steps. When I just walked, I turned and I felt something was coming out of my body. So I felt like the heaviness, as if I wore a very big lock, the old iron lock on my abdomen. No, I was feeling like that. So, oh, this is how it will feel when the baby drops to the pelvis. And at that moment only I felt, okay, baby has dropped just now, because until then I didn't feel that. So just now the baby has dropped. So even though the baby's hair was visible, it was crowning, only if the baby drops out of the cervix it will come out. Only then I realized that was very good feeling, but I was not able to enjoy. There was a pun. So it was a very very good feeling. At that point the contraction didn't seem like a pain at all. It was so good. But to experience that, women should not have anybody around you. Anybody, no, nobody should be around you. If you have everybody around you, you will not be ready to feel that pleasure at all. But what followed was my baby came out. She was so beautiful. I can't say. She had her eyes wide open, but she didn't cry. She was looking like this. So she was looking, what's happening around me? Why so many people? I should be in the hands of my mother, right? Why am I out here? She was like that. Maybe she felt some difficulty in breathing, is what the midwife told. I felt like she did this, but I was not conscious enough to note every move of the baby. I felt like she's fine only. 70% she is fine, but 30% I was put into doubt because only after the glucose IV I pushed properly and efficiently, right? So that put me into the guilt mode because okay, if we had the glucose prior during the time that they actually advised itself, things would have speeded up like they told. We have put the entire team in a lot of trouble. That was a kind of mentality that I was in soon after my baby came out. So at that point I was guilt trapped, totally guilt trapped. And when my baby came out, she was like only 3 seconds. She is having difficulty in breathing, she didn't cry yet, so we have to take her to the NICU immediately. You tell me if I should cut the cord or not. This was a question to me. Only 3 seconds, tell me immediately. I was like, I just gave birth, I have not even seen her genitals yet properly. I thought it was a boy, but it was a girl. Okay, so I didn't even see the baby properly. She was like very distant from me because the midwife was holding her. I felt I really wanted her near me. If you ask now, I feel I lost that moment. I really wanted her near me. I can't, I feel, and then when she asked, like, okay, the 4 hours that we got during the labor, that is a safer decision. But because the baby is inside, but now baby is outside, the placenta is not yet out. And I don't know, I gave in to their decision. I told, okay, you transfer to the NICU. I didn't want to take any more risks at that point, even though I knew I'm making a silly decision there, because I know placenta is a guardian for the baby and it is going to keep the baby alive. And it can, even if the baby is suffering out of some emergency or anything, if the placenta is intact and the baby is, it's pulsating, the cord is pulsating and all that is happening, the baby is safe. Even though I know that truth, I didn't stand by the truth and I gave in. And that is not true surrender. That is not surrender. That is not trust. So I gave in and they cut the cord immediately. They took the baby to the NICU and they didn't bring the baby to me for even the feed for about 8 to 12 hours. Yeah, 8 hours. 8 hours, I think. Yes, 8 hours. She was in the NICU. And then the next day afternoon ish, she was brought to me. And I had a very good sleep then. After the delivery I had a very good sleep. Then the baby was with me by afternoon only. So yeah, they gave the baby by afternoon only. So I think she had the trauma. And that too, she was not with me forever. She was taken back for some examination. I don't remember it clearly now. She was taken back for some examination. For feeding alone they brought the baby and then they took back to the NICU. At least for one night I think she was in the NICU. She was taken back, I think. I don't know, I don't remember properly. But she had the NICU trauma soon after the baby was okay. From now you can have the baby forever. Like that they told and they gave the baby, no. And from that point, there was one night where she was constantly crying even after her tummy was full. So then the nurses themselves told it might be NICU trauma. You just give her few hours, she'll be fine. And then by 1 or 2 nights she was okay. After that, she was super good. She never woke me up during the nights. She had a very good sleep, and that's the difference from C-section birth and very natural birth. I wouldn't say this is 100% natural birth because I had the glucose, but still, she was already there on my vaginal canal.
You weren't medicated for any sort of intervention. Glucose not always is an intervention. There are cases, even in absolute hands of births, where if it's required to give the woman glucose in the food form, if it doesn't work,
Okay.
sometimes midwives send women even before, in early labor, start to get an IV, especially women who are birthing at home. So, there are IV setups. So, the midwives that I trained with,
Oh,
they're home birth traditional midwives. They would send the women for IV. So, I don't think so. You should blame yourself for that as an intervention. You did what you felt like doing in that moment. It did help you, although I would still back your intuition and back your feeling that I just wanted to rest. Had they allowed me to rest, it would have been quicker, because you did need that rest, and that would have picked up your body, rejuvenated your body to do that. But then again, yeah, what happened, and it's good that we are discussing this for other moms to know and to hear you out all, raw and clear and bear it all out here. And yeah.
but yeah, so that was happening, and then, but all the feeding was good. Everything was good. After she came into my hands, like, she's just an angel. It's very special, no? Yeah. The way she looked, I will never forget. I'll tell her, you were born eyes wide open, like this, observing everybody, like, she was a mini warrior. She was a warrior. Um,
Of course.
it was so beautiful to see her like that.
This story may feel like a roller coaster of emotions to you, and often that is how it is for women. I hope this story helps you find a direction so you do not need to chase a sort of birth, for no birth is a bad birth. It is your birth story and a part of the bigger journey in life. Hope this helps you come back to yourself, your individual needs, circumstances, and decisions in alignment to yourself and embrace. For that, I hope you allow things to flow to their truest and the kind that belongs to you. Much love. There is a field beyond fear where the body is empowered to take on labor and birth. To land there, it is crucial to take birth education. To enroll into our unique labor and birth preparation course, reach out to us at www.birthagni.com or scroll through all available prenatal and postnatal preparation classes. Thank you for listening, all in the spirit of birth, womanhood, and freedom. Remember, you got the power. This podcast is about physiological birth and does not offer or claim to provide medical knowledge or diagnosis.
Starting a podcast with poor recording tools in the market? It was painful until I found Zencaster. Its high quality audio and video recording, along with the option of a backup, makes it super sturdy and a savior at times. With an easy to use dashboard and super convenient tools for advertising campaigns such as reels and videos, Zencaster is my comfort choice. Go to zencaster.com/pricing and use my code BIRTHAGNI, BIRTHAGNI, and you will get 30% off of your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. You may also explore their free hobbyist plan to begin with.